Hello good people, we are back here with another Science in Seconds video. Today we're talking about the good cells, the eukaryotic cells. This is in stark difference with prokaryotic cells. Now the main difference between eukaryotes or eukaryotic cells versus prokaryotic cells is that these guys, as I like to say, this is a fun, easy way for all you folks out there to remember. I like to say Ukes got nukes. Ukes got nukes. So eukaryotes got, not the kind of nuke you're thinking of, but they actually have a big boy, juicy, fat nucleus, not a nuclear bomb. It's just a fun way to help remember that. Ukes got nukes. That's the main difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotic cells. Okay? And we can just end the video right there. Just kidding. Okay, as you guessed, we are ourselves eukaryotes, us humans, and all the plants, and all the animals, and all the fungi. Pretty cool, as I have listed here. All plants, animals, fungi, and even these guys. What are these guys? These are protists. Protists are big weirdos. We'll talk about them later on the channel. Don't worry about them too much for now. Protists are just big weirdos. That they're actually eukaryotes, but a lot of them have only one cell. As we talked about, prokaryotic organisms only have one cell, and protists are the only eukaryotic organisms that actually have one cell, most of them, other than kelp. But kelp's like a super big weirdo, so whatever, kelp. We don't care about kelp. Anyway, I wanted to dive into why is it called a good cell. This is just kind of a fun bit of information to add here, but eu actually comes from the Greek, which means good. I have it written above right there, but so euk actually means good. I'll circle it twice because why not? So eu in Greek means good. We're a little biased there. We like ourselves a little much. Like, oh, we're humans. We're eukaryotes. So yeah, let's call it good. And then actually I learned this as well. Karyon, eukaryotic is the term usually, but karyon, that whole term in Greek, that actually means like kernel, basically. A rough translation would mean kernel in English. So eukaryote literally means good kernel. So hey, we got some good kernels in us. Popping some good popcorn or something, I don't know. So that's what eukaryotic or eukaryote means in translation. And as I said, the big difference is eukes got the nukes, we got the nucleus. Us humans, we got nucleus. We like to protect our DNA. Take that, prokaryotes. They're being a little silly. Another big thing to discuss with eukaryotes here is that us humans, unlike bacteria and archaea, same with plants and all animals, dogs and cats, we have much more. We have way more organelles than prokaryotic cells and more. Eukaryotic cells are much more complex structures than prokaryotic cells. With all these extra organelles, we got a lot more going on for us than those prokaryotes. We don't really care about them, whatever dudes. But as you can see, I look inside here, we can see what's going on in the eukaryotic cell, and there's just a bunch of mess. There's all this stuff over here, and there's this big thing over here, which is the nucleus, and there's organelles over here, and there's this guy over here, and this guy's all slimy and doing stuff, and then there's this thing over here. There's a lot of activity, much more organelles running around, bouncing around, doing their functions within our bodies and animals and plants and all this fun stuff. So, much more complex, much more stuff going on within our cells, and let's dive into what's going on in our cells. Split here of different eukaryotes. As you can see, us animals and fungi are grouped together. That's right, boys and girls, we are more closely related to mushrooms than we are to a redwood tree. Pretty crazy. So animals and fungi have very similar cells. Plant cells are also eukaryotes. They got a big juicy nucleus right here. They got their DNA all housed up and stored in here. A little spiral DNA housed in the little chromosomes. These little happy chromosomes. Not a great drawing, don't worry about it. So as I was talking about, we got the plant cells are still eukaryotes. They got nucleus. They have a lot of the same organelles, but they actually are missing a few. They don't have as many organelles, or they have different organelles, I should say, than us animals. So it's a little different, very similar though. Now outside this guy, we have this cool tunnel system. I call it like a weird cool tunnel system. The endoplasmic reticulum. Say that 10 times fast. This is like a cool, I call it like a tunnel system. It looks like a tunnel system. If you look at like images on it, it looks pretty sweet actually. It kind of is the place where it folds proteins. It kind of likes to bend up the proteins into little pretzels. So that's our endoplasmic reticulum there. So it's bending them and creaking and cracking them like little pretzels. And also ribosomes like to hang out in there. There's actually something called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the rough. And on the rough versions, the rough and tough versions, ribosomes hang out like kind of like those little fishies that hang out on that one Pokemon. I forget the Pokemon, Remoraid, and it feels like a Whalmer or whatever. I don't know. I'll pop up the image for you guys. Anyway, so ribosomes, which do make proteins and are hanging out here, they also like to hang out to kind of like are studded within the reticulum, the endoplasmic reticulum, and they're all studded along here. And they're like, hey, I'm just hanging out here, I'm just doing stuff over here. And those actually make the proteins. And the tunnel system, our ER, endoplasmic reticulum, actually bends and folds the proteins that the ribosomes make. Golgi apparatus. That's right, you heard it here first, folks. This is all in your cells, by the way, as if this isn't bizarre enough. But this thing, this weirdo here, we're gonna cross country over here. So Golgi apparatus, so vessels, are little vehicles of the cell. Deliver proteins to the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus is an apparatus full of Golgis. Just kidding. Actually, I like to think of this organelle as kind of like an Amazon warehouse, or just a big warehouse that it ships all the proteins and something else called lipids. And it ships these guys out to the rest of the other cells. So like if your liver needs something, so, oh, it needs this protein, I'm packaging it up, ship it out, box it up, send it out. And it also organizes stuff too. So it organizes proteins and lipids and sends them out throughout the body to other parts, other organs that it needs. So that's what that does. Pretty cool. It's like the Amazon warehouse, as I said. This is just a crazy factoid I want to share. Eukaryotic cells here evolved 1.7 billion years ago. Scientists can roughly estimate 1.7 billion years ago. So imagine the age, so the Earth, if you think about that for a moment, Earth is about 4.5 billion years. Our own cells evolved about 1.7 billion years ago. So there's a lot of time in between. You can do your math. You can do 4.5 minus 1.7, which nets us, whatever, do the math at home. Let's see here. 2.8, which nets us a difference of 2.8 billion years. Pretty crazy to think about. Yeah, so life evolved about 3.5 billion years ago, something like that. And the difference here, so you could see that that's a long time ago. And it took, if prokaryotes evolved about 3.5 billion years or so ago, that means there was even a gap of like 2 billion years between the first prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Pretty crazy to think about that. It took life that long between it was like one cell bacteria and archaea just floating around, just bacteria and archaea really, for a very, very long time in Earth's history. So eukaryotes are fairly new, at least in the scale of the universe. But that is quite a long time ago. I mean, it's new, but it ain't that new. But 1.7 billion years ago, rough estimate of the first eukaryotes. And now, here we are, and here I am sharing this video with you. Pretty amazing. Hope you guys enjoy this video. So 1.7 billion years ago, pretty amazing stuff. So we got the evolution there. One final point to talk about is, how did eukaryotes come to be? Because if we had like a bunch of bacteria and archaea, and they're kind of like tiny one-celled organisms, what happened? How did one cell become this kind of cell, and then this kind of cell become trillions within one organism? Trillions of these kinds of cells within one organism. The complexity, the richness, the depth. How did that happen? One theory is that the first prokaryotes, after a while, after just like angry with each other, maybe like the first prokaryotes just ate other prokaryotes, and I'm just gonna eat you. And eventually, as prokaryotes kind of like merged and started eating each other, maybe those first prokaryotes then started to slowly change and adapt and evolve over time, where they started having other functions within the cells that they were eaten by. There's a thought. So that's a possibility. I'll dive into other theories on how eukaryotic cells evolve, because it's just fascinating to think about, like, wow, here we are, here's all this life, and maybe the first cells ate the first cells and they were like really simple, and as they ate the simple ones, those simple ones slowly changed within those other cells, and that became other organs, and maybe became like a Golgi apparatus, and then became like a ribosome, and then started doing this thing and that thing and other things, and like, whoa, it's just crazy. And over billions and billions of years, here we are. Thank you, eukaryotic cells. We are full of them. We got trillions of these guys in our body. Not these guys, these guys. And we got all this jelly stuff going on in us, and all this crazy activity in our cells. It's a very good thing we have all this stuff going on. We are here because of that. And that is all for Science in Seconds today. A little bit longer, but that's okay. We learned a lot today. Please like and sub, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.